Colorado. Hey, Todd, thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks, Nolan.
Hi.
First thing when you want to talk about the fogger truck, is like that. I'm wondering about that now. When I was a kid, I used to run behind those things. But my question was, I traveled to Africa in 2007 to visit a friend in the service in West Africa, and we were drinking beers there, and the beer in this West African country had formaldehyde, and so that sort of scares me. But when you mentioned that's one of the two things that you're worried about.
Formaldehyde. That's my favorite ingredient.
Formaldehyde. I was just curious about formaldehyde.
Yeah, well, formaldehyde is a funny thing. Like I said, it was, you know, I only knew of it as a high school thing that you stuck your frogs in, but it turns out to be a really, really common glue. And so there was a story, I don't know if you heard about this, but Hurricane...
Formaldehyde. What he's about to talk about is in all of your houses, in the plywood, they use it to keep the wood together. And all these industrial glues are based in formaldehyde. And I don't know if you can see, well, we have a beautiful blue sky coming up. There we go. It's there somewhere. Oh, and this is the large landfill that I would love to ski down, skiing in the garbage, but you know, do something with it. It's just a big fucking heap of our garbage, and right now I am upwind of it. Alrighty, back to formaldehyde in the glue that is in everywhere.
Katrina came through New Orleans, and when all those people were kicked out of their homes or forced out of their homes, FEMA, in its wisdom, put them all in trailers.
That's right.
And
lots of...
I don't know, 6 months later, they found out that these people had formaldehyde levels in their bodies that were like off the charts. They made these trailers with really crappy plywood, and it was all glued together with... And these people were like literally boxed in and just breathing.
Yeah, hot. When the sun would hit it, it would release
but if
more
you think
fumes.
about it, I mean, who among us does not have a house that's sheathed in plywood? You know, it's like, it's one thing, the FEMA trailers is the big extreme example, and then you stretch it back to everybody else, and you realize we're getting a version of that.
Okay, what do we do to detoxify ourselves? Can people just take supplements? Will that clean you out?
That's a great question. I'll tell you what I did. I have a chapter in this book where I invite a toxicologist into my house, and I say, look, you know, give me a house inspection. I don't want you to tell me about the roof or the foundation. What I want you to do is go room by room and just point out stuff that you think I ought to be paying attention to. And, you know, he's looking, he's like, well, you see those cheap blinds you got over your window? That's all made out of PVC plastic. You want to get rid of that stuff. You see that stuff over there, those air fresheners? You want to get rid of that stuff. He says, the thing that I always do when I go to a house, people say, oh, my house is clean. He says, you know what I want you to do? I want you to take every aerosolized product you have, every detergent, every perfume, every spray, every pesticide, insecticide, whatever you got, throw it all in a big plastic bag and tie a knot around it and let it sit there for like 3 weeks. And then at the end of the 3 weeks, open up the knot and stick your face straight in it and take a big old deep breath. In one big shot, what you're basically breathing day in and day out. He says that convinces them, you know. So I thought I have another chapter in here where my wife and I take a natural history tour. We take a natural history walk through a big box store. We go aisle by aisle by aisle and just kind of look at labels and see what's going on. And as I was in there, you know, I was thinking everything here smells like lavender. Like the detergent smells like lavender. The potpourri, the scented candles, everything. And it occurred to me, what if we could find a plastic bag that was big enough to put around this giant big box store, tie a knot around that thing, and a month later put our face in it? Can you imagine? So, like, one idea is to have somebody, or, you know, get a little education yourself and, like, walk around and use your eyes, use new eyes to look at what's in your house. And the second thing, of course, is that you can, you know, you can, as you say, you're talking about supplements. There are ways just to eat in a way. I mean, we haven't even talked about food, of course. We've been talking about all these consumer products, but the food thing is a really important part because, of course, we're exposed to things through our mouths as much as we are through our lungs or anything else. And you want to, you know, you may think that organic is sort of a hippie thing, or maybe it's trendy or whatever it is, but the fact is that just eating things that are not sprayed with pesticides would reduce your exposure to pesticides by a dramatic amount. Now, it's not going to end it, right? Like I have a garden in my house. I use no chemicals, but my neighbor lives uphill, and you know, when it rains, his pesticides are draining into my yard. So,
well, that must drive you nuts.
Well, you know, organic farmers will complain about this too, because they can't even get certified because the guy who's got the farm next door sprays. And of course, you know, there's no such thing as property lines in the natural world, right? That, you know, pesticides don't obey property lines; they just cruise around. So, you know, you do the things you can. This can be very overwhelming because people feel like, my God, there's so much of this stuff. But it's really useful for people to understand that there are a lot of choices that they can make in everything they do, everything they shop for, everything they eat, everything they buy, the way they furnish their houses, whatever you're talking about. You have a choice every single time. You don't have to get out there and rage and shake with this and get politically active unless you want to. That's the other option, of course, is to get some serious regulation. That's a really important thing.
The thing is, they're not going to poison you with something that's really expensive. If they're going to poison you, they got to make it taste delicious or smell great. But it's poison, and you know it. And you have a choice every day. It's going to cost more because it's the toxic crap is real cheap. That's why it's cheap. You know, maybe they're not trying to poison us, but it's the cheapest way to make a buck. And that's the problem with it. So make a choice every day. Every day you wake up is a day that you can live the life you want to live. We live in the greatest time to be alive. We have access to so many different things. The world is the smallest it's ever been. Make use of it while you can. And soak it all in. And every day you have a choice to be the person that you are. Just don't think about it so much. Just do it. You know what's right. That's what the Buddha says. All right, back to the show.
We should spend some time talking about. But even if you don't want to do that, if you just want to be a consumer and like act with your the power of your pocketbook,
that's all it is. It comes down to the dollar. And when people say that they're not going to buy GMO if it says it on the product, and the companies stop making it in GMO, which has happened, where they have put it on the package, the people stop making it with GMO products, supposedly. It's still got all the other plastic crap and all that other stuff. But you have a voice. You have 7 billion people's worth of money to tell them what we want and to make this right and to spend it the way we want to. 7 billion people, 317 million right here in America. Make your choice. You are the consumer, and the consumer is always right. So back to the show.
That's the way to do it. You see things like Walmart, you know, decided to stock organic milk and organic yogurt. That was a game changer for the producers.
Oh, sure. They had to.
They had to because people want it. But now, did you know this? A couple of months ago, they said, we're not going to sell any more products that are made with these PBD flame retards, these really bad flame retards.
That's amazing.
You know, and why would they do it? It's because consumers demand.
You mentioned air fresheners. Those plug-in air fresheners. No good?
Oh, man. I'll tell you something. Of all the things...
I've got some. I did.
Gone!
You know, you walk into a bathroom someplace in a restaurant or whatever it is, you walk in and you will inevitably look up in the corner and you see a big plastic box that is squirting stuff at you, right?
Yeah.
And
You're the commercial place.
If you're lucky.
Can we just agree that it is not freshening the air, okay? It may be making it smell differently, but it's not making it any fresher.
Yeah, it's not sanitizing.
Right, you want an old school idea. You want your air to be fresh? How about opening your window? You know, you want your house to smell like an apple pie? Right?
Make one.
Bake it, right? Don't spray it, bake it. There you go.
That's funny. Okay, stay with us. We're going to take this quick break. We're going to come back and take final phone calls with you. McKay's book, of course, What's Gotten Into Us, Staying Healthy in a Toxic World, very informative. And when we come back, those of you in Ohio, Illinois, Florida, Canada, Nevada, California, don't hang up. We'll get to you as soon as we can, right here on Coast to Coast AM. And you can always email me at george@coasttocoastam.com. Don't forget, those of you who would like to become a Coast Insider, a member of the Coast Insiders Club, for less than 25 cents a day, simply go to coasttocoastam.com and sign up.
Sign up now for Coast Zone. Our free
I'm gonna have to learn how to
newsletter.
edit.
Get it today at...
All right, and that ends that part of the show. Stay tuned if you want to hear the rest of the story. And remember, kids, I love you all. Every day I think of you, and I'm with you. I put a little intention out, and I hope you all feel it, and you know the day's gonna be good. All right, and for everybody else, I hope you feel it too, because it's all about love. Love, not anger. We don't even mention it. All right, kids. I hope you have a beautiful day. Groundhog's Day. Exit 59, Wading River. I still have like an hour to go. 55. 55 does take longer, but it also does make you appreciate things more. So, you know what? Try not to always cut it close, because you don't want to be in an accident. Take it from someone who almost died. Take it slow, people. There's no reason for all the stress. Just figure it out. All right, and there's the sun again. And then I got some trees. And I'm gonna go. Living!